Phat, P-H-A-T, pretty hot and tempting.
So anyway, I had a great time over lockdown. It's fucking spectacular, actually.
I don't think that's true. It's been
Really good. No, I've been really enjoying myself doing nothing.
What's the worst thing you've hated about lockdown, other than being locked inside every day?
I
mean, for me personally, I'll put this out there, is sharing a toilet with your family. I know it's usually not
what, like you do every day anyway.
I usually do anyway, but because people are going to the toilet more often during the day at home, it creates some friction.
I should fucking hope not.
Depends how hard you wipe, I guess.
Well, because I didn't want to say it, but a lot of people have skids in my household, so
That's just
I always like to leave the bowl clear.
Oh god. Yeah, no, for me it's probably been changing the scenery, really, because it's boring in your house after a while, doesn't it? Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I've been walking the dog and stuff, as you know, but it's just like the same old bit of walk, innit? Same path. Seen that rock before.
I think that's the main thing that people are struggling with, isn't it? It's just that every day's merging into every day at the moment, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
That's the biggest problem.
For me, it feels like it's gone so quick. But it's like it's gone quick, as in like day to day, like a week is nothing.
Wait, Michael Richards' hairline is
It's impeccable, isn't it?
It is good. It's very good.
But yeah, like a week feels like nothing. Like you wake up and you're asleep again by the end, by like a couple of hours, and then yeah. But like if you look back on it, you're just like, that was so long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I think for me it's now July, and I think when it hit July, I was like, fucking hell, we're actually halfway through the year now. It's the 6th month. It's like,
we're closer to Christmas than
yeah.
we were last Christmas.
Fucking, that's
Mad,
depressing.
isn't it?
That is depressing.
Yeah. Feels like we haven't even started the year.
No, I know. Well, we haven't started the year because we haven't done anything. We've just been sitting at home.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
That's
yeah.
why, isn't it?
It's not been that different for me, because I spent July to January last year doing the exact same thing.
Yeah, well, to be honest, I can't really complain, because I do the same thing.
the smoke effect coming across our screen, mate.
So someone's got a.
If we start spitting, then that's gonna come across. It's like, ooh, yeah.
Mate, that does look quite sick, actually.
Nice music video.
Yeah.
That does look quite sick.
Cheers for this. Again.
It's alright, I'll be out in a minute.
Fuck's sake. Where were we?
Second hand high with that fucking hell.
Yeah.
It's all part of the fun.
Oh, that's why it's fucking massive. I swear you don't usually roll them that fat.
Well, it's because I had a bit of leftover in the tray, and then I sort of put some in the grind. I didn't realise how much I actually had, and then. But Saturday, innit? Saturday, you got to treat yourself.
Yeah. That was the other thing. Someone at work the other day said on the July the 14th or something.
Yeah.
And I said, oh, well, why are we worrying about that now? Because that's ages away.
Mm.
That is now in like 3 days, 4 days.
Yeah. What?
Mad, isn't it?
July?
14th. But like, I just thought, oh yeah, July 14th, fucking ages away. It's not.
What's happening on July 14th?
No, it was just something that someone was saying something at work, but.
Oh right, I see.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Like the fact that my parents are starting to make Christmas plans.
Oh yeah, because like Barbados and whatnot.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
just making plans in general. I think that's the only way people are getting through lockdown as well now. Well, I think in life in general, a lot of people get through life by getting excited for things or having events planned or having things planned in their life that they want to go and do.
Something to look
so having
to.
like lockdown where we've been locked in for pretty much 6 months, well not 6 months, 5 months, 4 months, and having nothing to look forward to and all your plans getting cancelled. It's just been a massive blow to the penis, isn't it? It's just, there's nothing for anyone to look forward to.
I've done it by thinking about the vaccine. To be honest.
That's what gets you motivated, is thinking about vaccine?
No, it's just like once the vaccine comes, everything will go back to normal, hopefully.
Yeah.
Oh, thing is, I don't
until
think
then it's just going to be a fucking...
It's not. I don't think it's going to happen for a while, though, is it? I mean, really, if we think about it, if the vaccine comes out in the next sort of 12 months, and then then we've got to distribute the vaccine, and then it's getting everyone injected by the vaccine. They're
already mass producing it, so that if it passes, then.
Oh wait, is there an actual vaccine?
Yeah,
No,
but it's
no,
not. It's not.
it's
It's
not-
not.
it's been
It's
trialled.
I think it's
Not
stupid.
been trialled yet.
They've started mass producing it in the event that this Oxford vaccine is successful. If it's not, then you've just got a load of vaccine.
Right, so we're
unusable vaccines sitting in the shed somewhere.
So we're printing a load of vaccines that we don't know works yet, or is it?
Yeah,
so has it been trialled on humans yet?
No, it's being trialled.
It's being trialled, yeah.
But it hasn't been
But
proven
there's
yet.
no confirmation yet.
But are we like certain that there's a certain percentage that it might?
Don't know.
No idea.
Not really. Everything's been.
The thing is, there has to be a certain percentage where it works, where they're confident enough to print loads and loads of.
I guess so.
Obviously, they got their research behind it, I guess.
I
But
mean,
the economy's fucked at the moment. So if you're spending however much money on a load of them, and then it turns out that actually we can't use them, that's a load of money just thrown away, isn't it?
In my opinion, though, I think like what do you want them to do?
No, I don't know. It is good. Like if it does work, it's good. But it's just like if it doesn't, then that's a load of money just chucked away.
I think in general, if all the countries weren't in like an economic crisis, things would still be locked down.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Things would still be locked down.
Yeah.
But it's only because pubs open and stuff like that. If the economy was shit, it wouldn't be like that. We wouldn't have to go back to work and stuff like that. So I think now
it's so obvious. It's so obvious. Everything that's like when they're opening stuff, it's just for the economy.
Yeah.
Because like everywhere's had, not everywhere, but so many places are having spikes in cases. I reckon in a few months it'll be pretty. Nice.
Yeah. Well, the thing is as well is trying to see when. Well, I think in general our society is going to become more. We're going to have to try and find ways where we can become like more or less reliable on us being well, if you know what I mean. Because this isn't going to be the first one that happens in our lifetime. No. There's going to be many more that follow this, I think. So I think
how many has there been in? I don't know.
Well, the last major one was the Spanish flu, I think, which is in like 1920s.
No. What was
that was the one my great granddad died from.
Really?
What was there was another one. I swear.
There's been a few, but none on that scale. I mean, there's been Ebola.
Yeah, we've had like swine flu.
Ebola, swine flu, bird
been
flu.
Things that have just like.
Transitions onto animals.
They were just things that were kind of kept relatively contained or weren't as bad as we thought, like SARS.
Oh yeah, well.
SARS is pretty similar to COVID, and they just kind of died.
Mm. Well, what was that one in the 50s where the kids had to like get put on like those ventilator things, but their whole body?
That might be what I'm thinking of.
Could be like measles or smallpox.
Yeah, measles or smallpox, but that got eradicated, didn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Vaccines are for like.
Well, isn't smallpox just chickenpox for adults?
No.
Well, it's a lot more.
But it's obviously it's a lot worse.
I think it produces like
boils
like all over your body.
I swear you can only get smallpox if you never had chickenpox as a kid, because then you've got the antibodies.
Well, no, I thought smallpox doesn't exist anymore.
No, smallpox doesn't exist, but I think what it did do is shut.
Or is that scarlet fever? I can't remember.
Because I think smallpox it shuts down your spinal cord or whatever, and so you can't breathe. Or your whole body is like shut down almost, but you can still think. I don't know.
I think it's either scarlet fever or smallpox got eradicated basically from vaccines. But yeah, I don't know this.
Do you not think though, the fact that how many people have gone into like been able to work at home, and how many companies have like shut down offices, it's made us realise like.
Well, it's cheaper for companies.
Yeah, well, it makes more sense to not have offices really. People are getting more shit done. Yeah. People are enjoying their work more. Maybe not necessarily because they can't go out, but when they can go out, it's a much more enjoyable way to work, isn't it? So I think
working from home.
Yeah, and it's going to make companies more profitable as well. So
I don't know, because some people like going out to going to work.
Oh yeah, I think offices are still going to be a thing, but I think there's going to be a lot less because, for one, it's in excess of money, isn't it? Each month that they have to pay for. And then there's a sort of commuting to work. That's a factor as well. That takes a huge budget out of people.
Oh yeah.
You think people who work like near us and they have to go get the train into London every day. That's like $6,000 a year. That's ridiculous. That's ridiculous. So if you can make those kind of savings and work from anywhere, I mean, it makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah. Nice. I don't know. I think this is what I mean about the vaccine. I think once the vaccine comes,
that's handball, isn't
it? Then we'll see like the lasting impact of everything.
Yeah,
because lots of things will go back to normal, but then there's stuff like that might not.
Well, everything's still so fresh. Like it's still so unpredictable because we're at a point now where it's like we've seen maybe like the brunt force of it, but we haven't seen it like whether there's the potential for it to like mutate or something else to kick up that or a new side effect or something.
I think it was World Health
vaccine. I don't know.
I think
we need a scientist on this.
Yeah.
I think someone from the World Health Organization said, like countries like us that are opening everything up will be back to what we were in March by like November.
What you mean, everyone back to work and stuff?
Yeah, and also it's accelerating. Like the worldwide amount of people getting it's going up.
Yeah, well, this
Brazil and America are the two like big nations that aren't doing like fuck all about it. Both because they're ran by idiots.
Yeah,
and they're just in fucking state.
Well, everyone's guessing though. Even scientists, they don't know. They're just going off of stuff they've only just found.
It's a lot of it's learning on the job, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what I mean. But that's what as well though is like the best things out of life have always come out of sort of like a need for something to happen. Or like new technologies have always come out. Like you think of how many fucking technologies are going to come out of this. Yeah,
well it's like the ventilators that like we F1 teams help make.
Oh yeah, forget Mercedes. Like the Formula 1 team, didn't they make obviously because Formula 1 season was postponed, wasn't it?
Yeah.
They made loads of I think it was ventilators.
Yeah, well it was a whole project that the F1 teams like worked together on to like create a
better ventilator.
Yeah.
That's what's so cool though is like how you can get in time of crisis like that, like companies who'd never necessarily work together come together and say like, oh
yeah,
fuck, we've got a really great group of like engineers here. Why don't we fucking come together and make something sick? That's better good for the world.
Get fed out how fucking stupid people are when they talk about it, like about it being conspiracy or whatever.
Well, it is.
It's like the worst one I saw. I told you. I logged into OPM and for literally like within 2 seconds, so the first tweet I saw was COVID is a fraud. And then I looked at the like comments and some guy was like, I'll tell that to my auntie who passed away. And he was like, that's what they said she died of. It's like, fuck off, you little knob.
Well, I didn't realise this as well. There's another problem is like someone in my family who is sort of getting married to someone is their granddad died of it, but they're saying now that anyone who goes into the hospital and they happen to have it, even though they don't have any symptoms, is going down as a COVID death.
Yeah.
So like, even if you go in for like, I don't know, a broken leg and you somehow die and get an infection or whatever, but you're not from COVID, but you're infected with COVID, for some reason they write it down as
but that's
death,
that's the incompetence of fucking whoever.
Yeah.
You can't die of COVID. You die of the pneumonia it gives you.
Yeah. You die of complications.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So that's just people being all over the place. But it's like I don't know why people just can't get it in their head that a mass pandemic is actually possible.
Yeah.
Like that's the thing that pisses me off. People think that because we're the UK and we're not third world or whatever, we're like these things don't happen to us. Like Ebola doesn't happen to us.
Well,
but like people have been saying for years that we were due a massive pandemic.
Yeah.
And now it's happened, and now everyone wants to say, "Oh, it's conspiracy."
But it's a huge wake up call for everyone, though, isn't it?
Because I know.
I think the reason why this whole sort of this year's been so crazy is you look at, I don't know, I think there's just been a mass build up over time of all these different factors, and it's just been the perfect like cocktail for it to like fuck up or like come to a conclusion almost.
Yeah.
And or like the start of change.
Yeah.
Like it's got the perfect ingredients. Like you look at, I was saying to you like a couple of weeks ago when it sort of was all kicking off, was like they all oh fuck, I forgot what I was about to say. I wonder what that could be. No, what was I going to say? Fuck, that's annoying now. Well, it's a free kick as well, so I can't really think.
Oh,
fuck. Oh, save. Jeez.
Hey, Ryan.
For context, we were watching the Brighton Man City game while recording this.
Oh,
mate, he gets it up and down so well.
Oh, fuck me.
It's actually quite a good save in the end.
Anyway, enough crying. That's boring.
Yeah.
Fed up with that now.
Why not, mate? Even though we've like only done like maybe 3 episodes since COVID's been a thing, like you think how much of a time difference this is?
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah,
It's
yeah.
like how we're still talking about it
Well, I had a trim in the last one.
in the last month.
No, in the last episode.
Oh yeah,
Ish.
yeah, like a bit like a bit
I
of a
think
shaggy
we should-
dog.
I think we should talk about Maxwell. What's her name?
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Yeah, I was about to do.
The world is
I was
about
to say
to
the
go
old
mental.
Oh, mate.
Epstein, whatnot.
Actually, it carries on from what I was about to say actually, because it's the perfect ingredient for everything to fuck up.
Yeah,
how
yeah,
everything
I
is
know. Oh,
concluded.
yeah.
Because you've got Trump, who's become president.
Well, he's
There's
alienated everyone.
so many different factors. If I was to try to explain it, I'd look like a crazy person with those pin dots on a chalkboard.
That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
that's what I keep thinking. I'm like,
With the pictures on it and stuff.
I mean, anytime I try to,
people don't realise how this is the kind of stuff you see in films, and it's like
Yeah.
starting
Well,
to
this
unfold.
is
Mate,
what
if you
we've
said to
been
someone-
saying. I think you were about to say the same thing, but
Yeah.
it's like if you saw this in a film and then
Yeah.
you left the cinema, you'd be like, "Well, it's a bit far fetched."
Yeah. It's like
But now
we-
it's
I know you
reality.
wake up every day and it's like, oh, this is another day on Earth.
Yeah, yeah.
cool.
we could be on the brink of like the world's biggest politicians, royal families, actors, all being exposed for like
Paedophilia in the
Yeah,
in
like- sex trafficking and all that kind of
what's
stuff.
it? What's the big paedophile ring, whatever it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah,
And the
Jeff
thing
Bezos.
is, like these, not going to say these things have been known about, but there's all people have always said about this type
Well,
of
the
thing.
pictures have always been there, but it's only just now where we realise, oh, maybe Trump isn't a great guy.
When he wasn't.
Well, it's
He's
like,
never
Maybe
been
he
a
isn't a
great
great
guy.
guy. We've seen these photos, and he's now president. So maybe we should take a look at.
What a
Oh,
goal.
good goal,
fuck.
that.
Mate, Mahrez is sick, man. Like everyone underrates Mahrez.
City have just scored.
He's
again.
a good. Was that even Mahrez?
But yeah, it's crazy. It is
Yeah, it
crazy
was.
how everything's coming together.
It's
And everyone's paying attention now because the world's on fire.
Well, it's like the. I remember seeing a video on YouTube on a documentary, and this was like 5 years ago, that said the like Downing Street or Parliament paedophile ring.
Mate, oh no.
And,
Well,
there's
it's,
been- and I was thinking as well. Remember when Savile got all that came out? I remember like some of the
BBC and that turned a blind eye allegedly.
Yeah, well, but I remember some of the victims coming out and
so to
saying.
get contracts.
I remember like they did the thing where they interview one of the victims, but they've got like they've like shadowed their face. You can't see them. So-
Yeah,
And they were saying like, oh yeah, I was there was like a room of all the people who were like involved in it, and there was like politicians, like
Well, it's,
high profile like celebrities.
Whether you believe it or not, it's that David Icke says a lot about all this stuff, doesn't he?
Yeah.
Like he's a controversial character, but he said the don't quote me on this because I know it's not completely right, but it was something like all the world leaders are all like linked
Yeah.
somehow, and then there's obviously like the Illuminati and what's it called New World Order,
New World Order, yeah.
and the family that controls all the currencies.
God.
No. The Rothschilds, is it?
Oh, what the Rothschilds? Yeah, they're like the banking firm, aren't they? Or
Yeah,
the
yeah,
investment firm, I think.
But it's all interlinked, and it's obviously
Yeah.
like the paedophilia that comes into that and whatnot. But obviously, like, you believe what you want. I don't know. That's it. Does like with the whole Epstein thing and how he ended up having that island.
Oh, mate, do you know the thing that pisses me off more about the island, more than anything, is
What
if you're
a
a normal,
waste, mate,
if you're a
what a
normal
waste.
person, do you know
Yeah,
how much
yeah.
poontang you could get on there?
Yeah.
Do you know the party? Well, you did have parties, but it just
Yeah,
wasn't.
if
It
you-
wasn't,
Yeah,
it wasn't his
underage
flavour.
girls, mate.
Hey,
If
normal
you
age girls
was
wasn't his flavour.
normal, you could just have normal fun parties.
Was it?
Instead of
It was
making it
worth
to paedophile ring.
over 500 million. That
And instead of a
island.
child rape case, he'd have a rape case.
But no, like it's just the whole situation. It's one of those things where, like, you kind of hear like, you know, when you see like comments like, "Oh, they were involved," and you're kind of like, I could see it being true, but you're just never going to find out.
Yeah.
And the
Yeah,
Epstein
yeah.
thing happened. And they're like, "Ooh." Then Maxwell gets arrested, and then she's like, there's all these pictures of her with like all those high name
Yeah.
profiles.
Well, talk us through the Maxwell. What's the first name?
Ghislaine.
Ghislaine
Ghislaine
Maxwell.
Maxwell.
Talk us through that.
So
everyone
she's
knows.
Epstein's like right hand woman.
Yeah, so
Essentially.
she's
Was-
like,
were they
she's
together?
French British.
Yeah, were they together?
So
'Cause I
basically,
never
what
actually-
happened is, I think, right. So she's French British. And so I think she's maybe a successful art collector or something like that.
Her dad was, because I watched the
Yes,
Netflix
he was
thing,
rich or something, wasn't he?
He was a tabloid. He owned like tabloids.
Oh, I think her dad owned a media company, doesn't he?
Yeah.
It was a media company.
But then something went wrong, and then he died.
Yes, and she inherited the money, didn't she? And then I think she was a bit of a socialite.
She went to go find more rich people. So
yeah. She was a bit of a socialite, and I think that's where she met Jeff Epstein.
Yeah,
and I think that's where they discovered their.
Yeah, so obviously, like Epstein
weird.
did what he did. Then she's found to be his associate. So and very close with him.
Yeah.
And if you look at like the amount of pictures there are, she's in like all of them with all these like high profile characters. So she obviously knows something. But she's in a situation now that, like we've said this a few times, where like obviously Epstein clearly didn't kill himself, did he?
No,
I think
it's in his autopsy. They've said his wounds are not from a suicide. It's strangled from the back, isn't it?
Yeah, there was a broken bone or something.
Yeah,
it was like you can't do that from hanging yourself.
It's highly
it has
unlikely.
To be like excessive force.
It's highly unlikely. And obviously the big one we haven't said yet. He's like Trump and him were like
buddies.
Yeah.
And Prince.
And Bill Clinton, who flew on his plane 26 times.
Yeah.
So
fuck.
That's not
committed
suicide.
26 times.
And then she was arrested by the FBI, but then recently the thing came out that she's been moved to the same prison that he was in.
Yeah.
And we were saying, and like someone was saying, you can't make this up. But then I made the point. I was like, this is a lose-lose for people like Trump, the people who are implicated in it, because if she dies, if she's killed, then that's the most obvious.
Do you know what they tweeted as well? They tweeted that she's not been given regular uniforms. She's been given paper uniforms, so she can't hang herself.
Because obviously, yeah.
See, this is the thing. I feel like it's becoming an FBI versus the government type situation.
Yeah.
And they're going to do all they can to because if she's in there, if she died, then it's the most obvious bit of evidence that like Trump and that behind it. But if she doesn't, there's like it's obvious to me that they're going to offer her a plea deal. Like
otherwise she wouldn't talk. She wouldn't talk otherwise, would she?
Yeah, it's like listen, we can give you
immunity or something like that.
If you tell us everyone. And this is why I'm kind of like it could be about to happen. The one thing that you see in films like could be about to happen, because if she exposes all those names, it will be the maddest year in history. I swear.
Yeah, and it's interesting you made the point about how the fact if she's given immunity or whatever is I think it'd be dumb to kill her, to be honest, because there's people behind it. If she's getting
then
questioned,
it becomes completely obvious that it's cover up.
And I think as well, you think with movies like these incredible plots about FBI versus the government or whatever, even though like they have to be based on something. Do you know what I mean? They have to be based on some kind of like what's the word? Sort of like when you
basis, like
when you sort of like when you sort of like cheat. You know what I mean?
Well, I think it's one of those things where we've always looked at it and been like, okay, obviously governments around the world are corrupt, but because we're never going to know the extent, there's no point like worrying about it almost. But now it's like we might actually be able to see like an actual example of that.
Definitely. Yeah.
And there's Trump's involved. There's no way Trump's not involved.
Thing is though, I believe
there's so much shit going on.
I think like whatever the truth actually is, they'll find a way to cover it up. Because imagine like the most powerful country in the world. Like, I mean, the government gets
I think this goes deeper than any of us.
Yeah.
Can even imagine. This goes so deep that I bet you it's a whole society would get uprooted.
I was about to get on to the next thing on that subject, which is the whole Wayfair thing today. And that is the most obvious thing to me, that this is a whole like it's the billionaires of the world that are all in on the same thing.
Yeah.
Why
they all look like fucking lizards as well.
Yeah,
They're animals.
Why billionaires?
It's a power thing.
Well, I think because to be a billionaire, you have to want power, or you have to be powerful.
You have to be like
to be that successful anyway. So there must be you have to be sort of like craving power all the time if you're that successful. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So they run out of ways to become powerful. So then you switch to how can I manipulate people now?
That makes sense.
And I feel like if you look at a lot of those people, this is a very general thing to say, but if you look at a lot of those people, those were the like kind of nerdy, quiet kids in school that like weren't really that popular and didn't have like. So now they get that and they're just drunk on power, and it's just like,
mate,
have you?
Could you imagine if it was just like Elon Musk posting all these memes? It's just like actually a cover up for him like fucking e-girls.
Yeah, mate. I hope Elon Musk is not involved. I pray he's not.
Mate, I trust.
That's the one.
Like, he's our only fucking hope.
That's the one thing I will say about like some of the pictures. I don't think everyone who has a picture with Epstein or that woman is like implicated in it.
So
I reckon there's definitely people that went to that island not having a clue and were never actually told about it.
Do you think this is all to do? Do you think R. Kelly is involved with all this sort of thing as well?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Same, like obviously.
But his thing was much more like in US, wasn't it?
Well, you say
it's like you wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
You would not.
R. Kelly was worldwide, mate, because he did it. That clip that I showed you on Xbox last night.
Yeah.
Where he's saying, "Do you have your passport? Do you have your shots?" And like, so asking that on stage in Ethiopia, where there's not much job opportunities over there and free money. And 50 Cent comes calling, and not 50 Cent, fucking what's it, R. Kelly comes calling.
Yeah, mate.
I think
you wouldn't be surprised, basically.
Everything goes deep.
Yeah, it's like I don't think everyone is implicated in it. I reckon it's a thing where the same people come and they're kind of people like Epstein are watching and like. Oh,
that's definitely humble.
Let's see if he, and you kind of like drop hints.
Yeah.
And then you work out quickly after that if they would want to be involved in it. But this is the problem that. Like, whatever happens, you're never going to catch 100% of the people who are involved. Like, people are going to get away with it. But if, let's say, 5 to 10 high-profile ones happen, then all the other people who are involved are going to absolutely shit themselves.
Oh, yeah.
And it could be a thing where you suddenly don't hear from, I don't know, Johnny Depp for however many years.
Did you hear about
He's
Amber
in the
Heard,
news
mate?
as well, yeah.
Mate, do you know what's really annoying? It's because I fancied her for so long.
Amber Heard.
What happened?
Well, basically, her and Johnny Depp were married.
Yeah.
And she.
Can I have a Coke, please?
She pictured
or
it.
a ginger beer, whatever.
She pictured it as if he was abusing her.
Right.
And when they got divorced, and it's all come out where she was actually hitting him, and he was like bleeding and stuff.
Apparently, she shat in the bed.
Yeah, and he knew because there's a quote that came out this week that said, "I knew my divorce was over when she defecated on my bed sheets."
Yeah.
But I mean, they wouldn't turn me down. Amber Heard shitting on your bed. I mean, it's not pleasant, but it's not your worst day in your life.
Well, I'll be the judge of that.
It's cheeky.
But
No, it's not. It's disgusting. Because she's a female.
is she a lot
she's
younger than
hot,
him?
and she
How old
do
is
what
she?
wants.
She is 34. Cheers.
That's a great age.
Great.
It's a great age.
Oh, Johnny Depp's like 50 something, isn't he?
I think he's like 51, 52.
Okay.
His daughter is 18.
Hey, all of us were just like,
Great age.
oh dear.
Come on, mate.
Yeah, no, because what was I going to say? I saw a picture of Amber Heard put up a picture of somewhere. I don't know where it was. It might have been Instagram, it might not have been, but it was like Johnny Depp's wallet, his phone, his bank card, 3 lines of coke, some tobacco. And she was like, "Oh, this is Johnny's breakfast," or something like that.
Yeah. Well, do you know the thing about that is though? For an addict, 3 lines and a glass of whiskey would not get you
whiskey.
fucked. That would just be like a little wake-up call for them. For an addict.
That's the thing is, you can always. I swear, you've always been able to tell.
Oh, you can.
Johnny Depp was.
Yeah. He's an odd fella, but he mate.
You only
he's
have to watch
sick,
Fear and
though.
Loathing in Las Vegas, and so like you had to be a
Edward
whole.
Do you reckon it's
Scissorhands,
just because he gets so
um,
into his roles? Do you reckon that affects you mentally?
I think he's a bit mentally. He's not mentally stable anyway.
Well, mate, look at his Jack Sparrow.
You have to be like not mentally stable to be the level or person.
Oh, Jack Sparrow's sick though, because
it's sick.
It's basically just Keith Richards from the Rolling Stones.
Oh yeah.
And the funniest thing was, I'd never actually watched interviews with Keith Richards, till the other day, and like within 5 minutes, you're just like, fuck it hell, you can see where he got it from.
Yeah.
So funny. Like all the mannerisms are exactly the same. But yeah. I want to go back to that Wayfair thing.
Yeah, so what is
So
the Wayfair
basically,
thing? Because I
I only found about this earlier.
I did it only break today though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Do you know what? I'll play the video because the
Alright.
video kind of explains it, and then you can choose whether or not to put it on the thing.
Sweet.
And I saved it because just in case.
What was that? Wait.
I was waiting for you to word it.
Oh yeah.
Alright, I'll play this. You have to stick with it though, because he talks quite fast, which might be difficult for you. But
Yeah.
we'll try.
No lie, you're making my chest burn a little bit again.
So what's been trending here? Wayfair, 176,000 people talking about it. What are they talking about? They're talking about this. Before we go there, here's a history for Wayfair from last year. They had an issue where employees planned Wednesday walkout after learning they are making beds for migrant detention centers. We know what most of the kids who get trafficked are found. They're found in the detention centers. So that is a red flag right there, bloody glove, whatever you want to call it. Darian found this. See that cabinet? Keep a note of that. Samaya cabinet. $13,000 for that cabinet. What these people do, I'll tell you in a second. Samaya is a girl that actually went missing not too long ago, just months ago, and in Ohio. What they do is when they're selling these children on these sites, they hide it, and they make astronomical prices for cheap goods, and they change the names exactly like you're seeing here. Same cabinet, different name, different price. How's that possible?
That is fucked.
Eureka is also someone, as she dug, 16-year-old girl who went missing on June 10, 2020.
Fucking hell, mate. What?
Seems a little hot. Annabelle Wilson went missing May 13th, 2020. She's 14 years old. And we have a cabinet here called Annabelle 5, $10,899 for what appears to be a shitty cabinet. Same cabinet as the first two. Kyla, different name, different price. And when we dig here, Kyla went missing January 25th, 2020 in Ohio, which was the same as the first one. Now we will go to Explore. We did that. We'll go to Wayfair.
Okay, watch this bit.
So if we go to Wayfair here, you can see them on Wayfair's website.
Oh, Wayfair's a web. Okay.
2.5 hours trying to test the price changes, and I just caught it. So I'm not refreshing it.
This makes it so obvious.
First pillow. Forget cabinets, a fucking pillow for $10,000. Really? And guess who it's by? Ellen DeGeneres, none other. So we go here. Ellen's price is still the same. She's holding strong at $10,000. This is probably still a kid. Then we go to the other ones though. We're gonna watch these prices drop right before our eyes. $10,000. Twitter went nuts. They started trending. Now the pillow's $47. This is what anons do. And if you go to the next one here, $10,000. Now this one's $46.99. Go to the next one here, the Gianna pillow. This one's $10,000. Price dropped to $46.99. This is basically all dropping because people are exposing them. These people.
Yeah.
So wait. Did he say Ellen DeGeneres is in that?
No, it's like that could be like a legit one.
Yeah.
He's saying
Yeah.
because like the price didn't change on it. Because the thing is, they do sell. This is why that's a good cover up for them because they do actually sell premium stuff as well as that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So that price charge isn't mental, but it just adds up, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? But the crazy thing about this is when you go on the video. Look, I've never seen that before. Instagram say,
No, to be fair, I have.
So partly false information reviewed by independent fact checkers. You click on CY, and the reason they give is partly false. Wayfair said the cabinets were high priced because they are industrial, not because customers get kidnapped children. So basically, they're just saying, well, Wayfair said that it's not that, so it's not that, and they've put a partly false information thing on it, which comes into the thing I'm saying is like how all the big corporations in the world could be in on it if Instagram are just whacking that up. Do you know what I mean?
It would make sense. And do you know the
That's
other
a good
thing?
point. Actually, yeah, I see what you mean.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Do you know the
yeah.
other theory I had about is all these ice camps or these ICE camps in America where they like detain all these Mexicans and they separate all these kids from their parents.
Yeah.
Why would it surely would make sense to sort of we can take a few out of here because they won't matter.
Exactly.
And then we can just sell them on there. And could you imagine if all of the world's governments were just sort of doing that with their
Trading kids
in sort of like a in all their holding facilities.
Yeah.
It's,
Well,
oh mate, it wouldn't surprise me. It's what's
I want to try and find it. But I did a bit of like digging on this whole thing. and I hope it comes up. But essentially, I did a bit of digging. Turned out that the CEO has had like child sex allegations before, and has,
What, of Instagram?
No. The CEO of Wayfair.
Oh, Wayfair, yeah, okay.
Has been involved in that kind of thing. Which would kind of make sense, but then the one that fucking was the kicker is that picture I found, which is another.
Is that JT?
No,
Justin
like
Timberlake?
he's the.
That's-
CEO,
is that the
but
Wayfair?
that's the
Yeah.
Fucking Maxwell.
Ghislaine Maxwell.
Wait, and who's the other guy?
The Wayfair
Oh.
CEO. So this is what I mean. It all hit me at once. I was like,
Shit.
Mate.
but it all hit me. I was just like, mate, this is one big, massive, like, world.
Paedophile ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, fucking hell, yeah, that's a bit mad.
Because like this is why it like hit me. I was like,
You got to put these pictures on the,
Yeah.
because otherwise it's not going to make sense.
No, but this is what I mean. Like, yeah, it all.
Shit.
It's mental. But that's the thing. Like, and like there was another one that someone like put a few screenshots of like Amazon doing the same thing, and it's
Mate, I've never liked Jeff Bezos. I don't know what it is.
yeah I don't.
Slimy
Even though
character,
you know
mate,
what
yeah.
it is. Elon Musk is likable,
Mate,
and
it's
he
the way-
actually and he's approachable as a person. Whereas
the way
Jeff Bezos, he looks like an alien. He talks like an alien. He operates like an alien.
But the way he
I don't
treats
like
his
Staff.
Staff
is the worst.
fucking horrible.
But yeah, but that like seeing her with him after this has just come out, it just instantly made me think this is just one big massive scandal of the world's richest, the most powerful.
Mate, I bet. It
And
wouldn't,
this
even,
is
it wouldn't
why-
even surprise me if the royal family it dates
Oh,
back.
yeah, yeah, 'cause
When
Prince Andrew,
we
mate.
had all of our like colonies,
Yeah.
we were probably trading kids left, right, and centre,
Mate,
and probably
more likely.
kept on doing it.
Mate, when
Because you only learn about what they want you to learn about.
Yeah,
well, it's like this whole BLM thing. Well, like we all saying we actually know nothing about
No.
British slavery. We know it happened and that's it. We don't actually know the ins and outs of it.
like could you even imagine if we spent like as a ghost one day just like seeing the life of a slave? Like you would just be like, wow.
Do you know what, mate?
We
It's
know
like
nothing.
It's like the Crusades. I've always said, like when there's sort of terrorist attacks, Al Qaeda and all that,
Yeah.
ISIS and that kind of thing. Obviously, like it shouldn't happen, but it all comes from us invading all those countries and
Trust
doing
me.
a lot worse than that kind of thing, like raping, destroying,
Pillaging, yeah.
pillaging. Like so, we are the worst of all of
we're-
them.
Mate, if someone gets in the way of our tea, we just kill them. That's
Yeah,
the problem,
I know,
unfortunately.
I know.
But
Power.
in
Well,
history,
this is
what
it. This is just the thing, though. Like,
we made China addicted to opium because they weren't giving us our tea.
mate, this is the thing, though, isn't it? Like, humans really are the biggest virus on the planet
Yep.
Yeah,
because it's like we're so like our brains are so complicated. Okay, yeah, we can accomplish like amazing things.
yeah.
But the flip side of that is because we've got so much capacity compared to everything else. Like we're always gonna have. There's always gonna be people, and it's obviously because there's so many of us. There's always gonna be people that are a bit fucked up,
Yeah.
and then
Mate, it's the power thing.
Yeah.
I'm telling you just get drunk on power. You have too much money. People don't know what to do
and the thing
with
is, I reckon that could be anyone. If you find yourself
You know what
in
it
a
is?
position with that much money and power, you could be the nicest guy on earth. Suddenly, you could be corrupted by people around you.
Yeah. It's
People saying stuff in your ear and it's like,
Suddenly, it embeds itself.
Well, they start
in the back of your
saying-
head.
but it's like
Oh, we
pushing,
can give
it's
you
pushing
this,
the
we can do
boundaries,
that.
isn't it? It's like, oh, see how far I can like
oh
push
yeah.
it with this. Like, how
Yeah,
much can
yeah,
I
yeah.
get away with?
Yeah.
It's like a sick game.
Well, you think if you're a billionaire, making money's not going to make you happy anymore,
No.
or like, well, being rich anyway doesn't make you
yeah,
happy.
you've got to
But
start doing mad
but
stuff.
yeah, being a billionaire, you got to start doing crazy stuff. You're like, oh, I've never even thought about doing that, but
Yeah,
because it's
yeah.
dangerous and I could do it, and it's sick.
Do you know?
Just
Do
do
you know?
Just
You know, I was saying the other day about almost like having the addiction of getting out of your comfort zone. Almost.
Yes.
You know, I was saying that to you guys on the
Yes.
box the other day. It's almost the same thing. Maybe there's like a major flaw with how our brains work, because
What do you mean?
we like there's a novelty to everything, isn't there?
Yeah.
So
But you'd
Obviously,
hope that
once-
none of us would get corrupted by
Yeah,
like
no, of course, but
kids.
No.
of course,
like
of course.
that, do you know
But this is just a theory. I don't know if it's true or not.
Yeah.
But it's like if you've had so much and if you've got so much money, like say you've got enough money to buy whatever you want on the planet,
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're gonna need your brain's gonna start looking for a new level of high to really get that dopamine hit, isn't it?
Well, it's like you were saying, those types of people are the people that just will kick everyone out of the way to just get more and more and more.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
more.
Like that's
So money becomes irrelevant. At
Well, I
some
think you
point.
find as well, like with the top CEOs and stuff like that, once you hit like a barrier of, I don't know, like £1 million, you start to realise that the people above them who are in more money are more, they like their job role because they have power.
Well, they're the ones that control the world, essentially.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it's not governments,
Exactly.
it's the people with money. It's
maybe
the
we shouldn't.
banks, the oil companies.
Maybe we shouldn't have rulers or over a big group of people. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Maybe we're just not wired to be able to handle that.
Well, it's like it would be nice if communism actually worked, because communism is like the ideal thing, but it's just in theory it never works.
Well, just
Let's go to the farm. I want to get my pitchfork out. Come on, let's go. You really made me motivate.
No, you know what I mean though. Like communism is basically everyone being on the same level, but it clearly doesn't work like that.
How I can't even believe it. Churchill will be rolling in his grave right now.
Fucking statue. No,
What do you think Tommy Robson would think of that?
No, you know, I don't mean like, because communism in theory is a good thing, but it's just it never works, because what happens? They end up being dictatorships basically.
Yeah.
And it ends up being China, Russia, all those countries where
There's just too many
You
of
have
us.
to have rulers.
Yeah.
Like the way the world is, you just have to have
Well,
rulers.
this is-
So communism just can't work in that.
mean,
way.
remember I
it
always
doesn't
used
sound
to
too bad
say-
if you're you're the dictator. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but remember I always used to say, like, I think the way the world's set up is so wrong. Like, you have to get a job to be able to survive. Like, I know. I guess, like, to have civilization, that's got. I can't think of another way for it to work.
I was having a conversation
But-
with
Like, mate, but I think maybe we're not meant to. Like, we're just so advanced. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, do you know what's made me realise this
it's too
lockdown
complicated in my
is
head.
life. We're all trying to go through life to sit on our ass.
Yeah.
Why do we go to work? Oh, so we can sit on our ass.
yeah.
Why do we want to like live our dreams? Oh, to make money and do what we want to do, and then sit on our ass.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah,
know what I
at
mean?
the end
It's
of the
like-
day, we're all going to be
So
sitting on
I
our
think,
arse and
I
our
think
like-
we're naturally now we're slowly starting to go to a point now where like we are becoming robots, where we are becoming like
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's
sort
like
of,
I've
like,
always said.
information bit.
I've always said
robots.
my goal in life is to be able to like have all my assets so that I know I'm getting a certain
So
amount
you
of
say
money every
ass.
month. Yeah. So I know I'm getting a certain amount of money every month to just do what I want. So like if I want to go
Yeah.
Jamaica, I can just do it. For example. Yeah. But yeah, I've completely forgot what our point was.
Yeah,
We've
no,
gone
same.
way left.
Yeah.
I know it came from like Mayfair and the whole
Yeah.
Wayfair and the big scandal thing, but
Well, that's the beautiful journey of a
this
conversation.
is what I
isn't
mean.
it?
Like,
You need to cut that shit out, man.
No, it's good.
the thing is,
the weed.
Yeah, I know.
the thing is, it makes me wonder, like, who's gonna be the one that makes a shitload of money that exposes them all?
I'll do it.
What do you mean? What do you mean the whole operation?
So, like, yeah, like, who's gonna be the billionaire that
Well, there's not.
kind
I
of
don't think it's going to be a billionaire. It's going
takes
to.
it upon
I
themselves?
think.
Maybe-
I think what it's going to
almost.
be is the fact that I think we've come to a point now in civilization where our governments don't have as much power as they think they do,
Yeah.
and we've
Mate,
we've almost got like a rebellion with hackers
Well,
because
this-
that's what it's
yeah,
becoming.
yeah,
It's an information war, and we now have power where we can sort of like. Oh, we can fight back a little bit while hacking shit.
I
And
think
sort of
this
like,
year-
Like, just got Hitler fading in the green.
I think this year has been a perfect example of exactly that. Like, obviously, COVID was something that no politicians could control,
No.
even though someone like Trump's trying to. isn't it?
Well, some would say it's actually made by the government.
Then you get the whole thing with George Floyd, and that was
Yeah, that's
the power of the people trying to make change. Like, obviously, the riots and stuff.
Yeah,
in
nice.
people have been
America.
stuck at home as
It's
well.
a big cocktail, mate.
And
Of
Trump obviously
disaster.
Trump obviously, like, he's been fucked now because he handled that whole thing so bad. And now you've got this whole Epstein scandal, which the FBI are clearly just like, we're not going to let this go.
And another thing that we haven't even talked about as well, the election coming up in September or October, which is another thing that's going to start popping up.
Exactly. It's like, I just feel, especially with that Epstein scandal, I feel like we're on.
That was the worst goal we conceded in the Premier League. That is. No, I'm sorry.
That was dead. That was so dead.
Awful. How has he let it run through his legs
Fuck
like that?
me, man. No.
Oh.
What? I need to see the replay
I
of
didn't see
this.
that. I missed
Because I have no idea how that's gone in.
Oh, fucking hell. No, this is
Oh my god, man. Did he just fall into the ball?
Oh, look at that. Sterling's whipped it over Dunk's head. Webster's lost the header. And it's come off Raheem Sterling's head and gone through Matty Ryan's legs. And then Dan's pinged it against the post and it's gone in. Look at the state of this. Oh, put some clown music behind that.
Mate, I'm telling you, like, I know that's a shit goal. City are better than Liverpool. Fucking...
Oh, that is going to be one to not remember.
Right, what was I going to say
Yeah.
before that?
No, I just want to piss people off. City are better than Liverpool.
Yeah,
I think
Epstein
I'm
scandal.
right,
It's
so
going to be a cusp.
Football is depressing.
Yeah. Football's just here to keep us in line, mate. That's
No,
all.
that's what it is. It's to keep our hopes realistic. That's what it is.
Yeah, no, Epstein's thing.
Get that dopamine release.
Yeah.
Unless you're a Brighton fan.
If this whole thing comes out, this is going to be the start of, it's like you were saying,
The
like
beginning of the
people.
end.
No, like not people fighting back,
Like
Waking
having
up.
more power.
Waking
Yeah,
up. Yeah. Well, do you know what?
You
What
know
if you
how-
just
you know-
colonise another planet and start again?
Well, it's like, you know when people say about like a revolution, you say, oh yeah, whatever. But in your head, you're like, it would be nice.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like everyone,
A revolution would be nice, man.
It's like everyone would
Evolution.
like a revolution, but you just think it's so far fetched.
Yeah.
But it's like this year's been an example of the governments of the world not being in control of stuff, even though they want to be and pretend they are.
Here's a few problems with a revolution, though. Is
It would be
when
Yeah.
a revolution does happen, there's a few things that happen. There's one, mass panic.
Yeah.
2, confusion. 3,
Yep.
fuck-uppery.
Usually ends in a military dictatorship.
And unfortunately,
revolution.
no matter how many, unfortunately, no matter how many times throughout history people have said, "Oh yeah, we want to create a utopia."
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it's always ended up in
I
a
know.
dystopia of hellfire and rage and starving and
We
gulags.
shouldn't. Yeah, we
you, know,
should.
you know what I mean though. Just like, just something to get rid of like the people that control the world, governments and the big corporations.
Yeah.
I feel like it's got to happen at some point.
Maybe
power.
I just don't have the brain capacity for it. But I just don't think like humans are designed like
Well,
this.
This is what we.
We should all.
This is what we keep on.
We should
forgetting.
all. We should all. Like, love shouldn't be a thing. We should all be roaming around forests with a little.
Well,
Have your babies, leave. Have some more babies, leave. Get your food in. That should be it.
Yeah. Well, that's what we keep on.
There's like 6 couples with doggy.
No, well, that's what we keep on forgetting as humans, though. That we are just fucking monkeys.
Exactly. Yeah. No, we're
Skin
monkeys with
monkeys.
less hair.
With a little bit more DNA.
Like, have you
Yeah.
ever
An extra DNA
have you ever
strand,
like just sat there at night and just looked at your penis and just thought like, what? This isn't even a real thing. If you were to go to a different planet and look at a penis, you'd be like, yeah, that's an alien.
I've definitely looked at mine and thought, imagine finding that nice.
The scrotum moves on its own.
Mine's
It's a
nice to
peculiar
look at.
thing.
I think mine's alright to look at.
Mate, there's
No,
nothing about a penis is nice.
Depends
to
what your
look at.
preference is.
Yeah. Well, no, mine's tidy.
Yeah, but it's
I
like-
think it's normal.
But it's the
like,
same
I don't
thing
know.
with
Yeah, maybe I
vagina.
haven't thought about it that deep. But
No, yeah.
But if you think about both vaginas and penises, like neither of them are nice to look at, but like you still get turned on by a vagina.
Yeah,
Just 'cause
yeah,
it's
yeah.
like functional. It's like
it's
Does the
weird.
job.
It's weird, isn't
Does
it?
the job.
yeah.
Look at that wet
Yeah,
love.
no.
Whereas like bum and boobs are nice to look at.
Well, do you know what
It's
it is?
all to do with,
it all
fertility.
it all comes from fertility because
Yeah.
as dumb as it is, every time
Yeah.
we want to have sex, it's because we want to have a kid.
Yeah.
It's
kind of deep.
in your brain. It's men are obviously like hips. is one of the main things.
Childbearing pips.
Yeah, that is one of the main things. Obviously, everyone's got their own personal preference.
Yeah,
it's not the
and
same, but that is a
jugular's
reoccurring.
because of milk.
Yeah. A nice round bottom.
But yeah, like that's the thing with a vagina. There's nothing that great to look at, but it's what you associate.
Yeah, that's like we were saying the other day.
Yeah.
It's just a vertical bacon sandwich. But we all like bacon, don't we?
Again, don't know how we got into that.
No,
subject.
yeah. Well, that's just our brains being natural and thinking about vagina.
Yeah.
On bacon sandwiches.
Mate, we've got our 3 main functions sorted right here. We've got the football on. We're talking about vagina and food.
Oh,
That's it. The key to every man. Your football, Jelly.
that's such
Right,
that is complete football Twitter. That's fine.
Oh yeah.
Anytime a female has an opinion on football, they're immediately met with just get back to the kitchen. It's like it's 2020, guys.
Mate, football.
Have you watched any decent films over lockdown?
I watched every single Avengers.
Oh wait, so you
Really?
watched the whole of the MCU?
Not well. I don't know. I'm not
So,
like a
so
hardcore fan.
so do
I've watched every film from the original Iron Man all the way up till Spider-Man: Homecoming. Is it Homecoming or
right, yeah, Homecoming.
is that the latest one to come out?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's not.
Or the
Have you seen
The
the one?
latest
Have you seen the one
Spider-Man.
with
with the green fella.
Oh yeah, Mysterio.
Yeah.
Mysterio. Yeah. So have you seen Captain Marvel?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So you've seen Iron Man. Iron Man 1. Iron Man 2.
But I watched it in
Captain America.
not
for-
release date in chronological.
You watched in chronological.
Yeah,
order?
yeah. So Captain
So-
America
so
was one of
what-
the first, I think. No,
No.
Captain Marvel.
So the order
was
it goes
one of the
in
first.
is Iron Man 2, Captain America.
No, I
Thor.
swear it's
No. It's
Captain America. Then
Thor.
I can't remember now. Anyway, I googled it and
Yeah,
watched
anyway,
it in that order.
Right. How'd that go? You like them? Your films?
Yeah, no, it's alright. I just did it because I'd watched the Avengers, obviously,
Yeah.
but there were so many people. I was just like, who the fuck are you? So I thought if I watch them all while I've got all the spare time,
Like, who did you not know who you...
like the Doctor Strange's guys, and you know when Hulk
okay.
goes talks to the bald lady.
Oh,
Doctor Strange
what,
is like mentor that she dies, doesn't
Yes,
she?
the grand... yes. I can't
I can't remember what her name is. But yeah, like when Hulk went to talk to her in one of the Avengers, I was
Yeah.
like, what is this? Because
Right.
I didn't have a clue who that was.
Okay.
But obviously now it all makes sense.
Really?
Yes, because I watched it.
And that concludes this week's episode of Film Club.
I saw. I thought I'd only seen 2 Avengers films.
Avengers,
yeah. The 2 with
Age of Ultron and...
the big purple bloke.
Oh,
Big purple bloke, Thanos.
Thanos, yeah. Like those 2. And to be fair, I'm not usually into those type of films, so I quite enjoyed the last one. I thought it was pretty sick.
Yeah.
I
just thought...
And then I remembered I'd seen another one, which was the one where it starts off in a forest.
That's
Age of Ultron.
Yeah, because I saw it on a date with my ex. It was like one of the first dates we went on. Well,
That's
it was only-
really
Wait,
it was
have you been on a date to see a Marvel film?
No, because they just talk.
Oh, have you?
Cinema is a shit date.
Yeah, it is. But yeah.
I disagree. Because, for one, you have to...
Get handy.
I knew you were going to say that. I knew you were going to say that.
No. You can't say that. No, you can't say that. Because it's true. No, but yeah, because I do like the cinema, because for one, a lot of the time, like, dates can be like anxiety driven, can't they? Like, you
Yeah.
can get quite anxious about them sometimes.
That's why
I don't get
alcohol-
I don't get that so much anymore, but it's quite a nice way to get like into or meet someone for the first time. Do you know what I mean? Because you're in a dark room, you're seeing a film you want to watch,
Yeah.
and then
But then...
you go out afterwards, go for a drink. Whatever.
Yeah, I guess so.
Yeah,
I mean,
break the ice, I guess.
we had a meal and then we went.
I wouldn't do it for
So
first
that's
date.
probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Nah, film their meal.
Nah, because
Yeah,
something to
should
talk
have done that,
about.
but I was 18.
you always fill up on popcorn. It's
No, because you got something to talk about afterwards. Did you like
Yeah.
film?
Yeah, but you talk about it in the car. And they go, oh, I had a really great time tonight, James.
Yeah.
So, do you want to come in?
No, we went.
Come with a cup of coffee.
Yeah, we did meal.
No, so I can't
but
have caffeine past 12.
But in hindsight,
Gotta get back.
in hindsight, it's awkward because you're like, well, you can't talk obviously, but then halfway through you're just like, shall I put my arm around her? Shall I not bother? Is that a bit odd?
Just go, well, you just gotta feel the mood and go
hold
for it.
hands through the little.
No, the first step is...
If you're not gonna get a blowjob.
The pre-COVID, it was always the first step was like, oh, should we just get like a large Coke and share?
Yeah.
Then we share saliva.
See, that's how amateur I am. I didn't even know that was a thing, but it makes sense.
Yeah.
Most of them
Well, it
like,
just comes from being broke.
Broke mentality. Can you buy the Coke?
No, we'll just buy
I'll
one.
buy the tickets. You buy all the food.
Now, what is your...
Is that like a known thing? Because that's like
No,
a good
no,
idea.
that's right.
Oh.
No,
I don't
I
know.
didn't know, but
That's
it's
just what
just,
I've done
that's what I'm going to do
That's
now.
quite a good
if I go to
idea.
the cinema. But,
That's what I've done in the past.
That's quite a good idea.
Or just get a share bag of a...
Or you
Haribo
like
or whatever, and
you
can
offer it, and then if not,
touch hands in the
just don't.
bag.
Yeah, that's like the classic.
Is that a ring, Haribo, I see? No, it's a heart.
It's like the oh god. Friday. Do you know what? I want to know. I want to know.
I love you.
I want to know.
Fucking egg.
I want to know who the first person was to try the popcorn willy trick.
That
You know-
Oliver thing.
No. Well,
Wait,
one-
he's got-
well,
you
because
have your dick in
because
the
you know
bottom
it's
of
always been
popcorn,
like
like-
a sort of like a old wives' tale where people like sort of like put popcorn there and
Surely
like, when
if
their
you had-
partner goes in for the popcorn, they
Surely not.
I want to know. I want to know who the first person was to try that. 'cause
Surely if you're
it's such a brave attempt.
if you're
of being
circumcised
horny.
and you've got salted popcorn, that's
Oh,
a recipe of
mate,
disaster,
don't.
ain't it?
Oh.
And then she's rummaging around in there.
Oh, no, don't, because that's what she told me.
Off they go.
No.
Long nails, mate, down the jap.
Oh, no. Oh, can you
I
really
know
get
someone
a
that
couple of
happened
salt
to.
grains
I
down
know
the jab
someone that-
side?
Oh,
Mate, I know someone that happened to. Which
What,
is
got
like,
salt grain down the jab
no,
side?
the other one. The nail.
the nail.
Oh.
Wait, a girl's nail?
Yeah, I'm not going to talk about
You
it.
know, like acrylics.
Oh,
Yeah.
I can't.
Yeah. How does that even happen?
Well, and obviously they were fondling each other on the sofa.
I think
or
one-
something.
But that must have, you have to be pretty precise.
No, I think like they went down to like,
Yeah,
and they went with a bit too. Oh.
that doesn't bother me.
It would have bothered him when he was bleeding.
Oh, mate, yeah, no.
Anyway, yeah.
Sorry, I felt that.
Yeah, I know. I don't even like talking about it. It's grim. Anyway.
I want to try that. Never say no.
Oh,
What's the best date idea? What's the like
that's
stages?
what I was going to ask.
What's the
Yeah,
stages of dating? Do you reckon?
First one, I used to go for the old restaurant,
Do you know what?
but that's because where I live and I have to drive.
I think it's
there's so many
situational,
factors.
it's very
There's
situational.
so many factors to this, guy, because if you say if you were talking to a girl and you face and yeah, then the cinema is not so much of a bad option because you kind of know each other.
I think
cinema,
the ideal-
no
but-
cinema for first, maybe second, third.
I personally
fourth.
think the ideal first date is going to a bar for a few drinks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
the
that's
problem
what I would
is
say.
for people like us, it's
Standard.
situational because we.
For one, we have to have a female interested in us.
Well, it's like we can't
I don't
really
know why I keep
drink.
calling everyone a
We
female.
can't really drink because we'd have to drive. Trains and buses won't
Well,
go
that's
past.
this has always been my problem. Like,
This is what I mean. If we were actual ballers, we wouldn't care about that stuff. We'd just go like, yeah, well, fine, we'll get home somehow. Hey,
Yeah.
we're lads, we'll
she's
get
going to be
home.
well impressed when you're stuck on the street doing nothing.
70 quid taxi ain't worth it.
Yeah, mate.
I know, but I wish we could be those people.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. I wish we could be those people.
Yeah, no, that's always been my thing though. So I've always gone with the restaurant, and like I know sometimes it can be awkward, but for me, if I can't
For me,
take
my
someone
Once
out
you
for
get past your
drinks,
first pint, it's fine.
then that's what else am I gonna do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then you can always go for drinks afterwards. But you can just have water.
Oh, it's dead though.
That's
That's, the
so
thing.
dead.
It's dead.
that's
It's
so
dead.
dead.
But that's what I have.
I just think
Like situations force me to do quite a lot.
I
Of
think
time.
bars are the perfect first one because if you're as long as you're like drinking at the same like rate as each other, it's
Yeah,
decent
yeah.
because you start to open up a bit more.
Yeah.
And then like that naturally gives you a good standing for whether you want a second one or not.
Do you know? The thing as well?
And
though?
the second one you can. I think second one's fair for a restaurant.
Do you know the thing as well, though? I think a lot of guys, they think too much inside of these bad boys. Okay? They think inside the box. And
even just going for a walk's not bad.
And mate, girls love
a walk.
Sort of crazy ideas. So if you say, all right,
Want to go for a walk?
do you want to come around and play a bit of Tiddlywinks? Oh my god, that's actually an original idea. I've never heard that before. Maybe not Tiddlywinks, but something along those lines. Do you want to go windsurfing?
Mate,
Someone
someone mentioned making brownies.
Oh no, I've got a good one.
Licking a spoon and all that. But that's very old fashioned, I think.
Yeah, I've got a good one. Is
that's also very sexist.
In,
Women inside kitchens.
in Brighton, there's like a VR headset place. And you just go there and you play games in VR. Like,
so you don't see them the whole entire day.
No, but you're obviously spanking them on whatever game you're playing. So.
In real life.
And then you take the headset off and suddenly they're all sweaty. And...
I didn't realise you're actually spanking them in real life.
Go! Mate, you know, that's going to be a thing in the future is VR brothel houses. VR brothel houses.
Leave her alone. Oh, what is that video? It's like a VR island or something like that.
It's the oh fuck me.
Like from what I remember, it was like they're in this game. Everyone's in VR over not online, obviously. Yeah. And then this guy's chatting, not even really chatting.
He's kind of like being annoying to some woman.
Yeah, and then some other VR character. What is it, like an alien or something?
Yeah, because he's like annoying her like with a sword. He's like, and she's like, get away from me. And he's just like, dude, some guy just runs up for like sprints up hard.
But it's fucking like, funny because
get away from her.
Some weird characters. Go away from.
And the guy like proper cracks it. It's like, oh man, I need to find that.
Yeah, you gotta find that. Like.
We've come so far, we've reached so high, we've looked each day.
Ave Maria. What we doing?
But I suppose at the end of the day, boys will be
boys.
Right,
I hate that phrase.
You know,
it just excuses everything that men do. It's disgusting.
I used to say that every 2 seconds about 2 years ago.
I was thinking that. I don't say it anywhere near as much.
But I think I might have to have a comeback.
No,
I think you need to come.
Did you want a girlfriend? Did you want a girlfriend? Or any sort of sexual relation with a female?
Boys will be boys.
Do girls really hate that phrase, or I don't think they can't. Surely.
I think. Well, what's the difference in girls saying girls will be girls? Like, there's nothing different. It's just words. This is what pisses me off about people in general who get pissed off about words. They're words. They mean nothing.
Yeah.
Like,
just take it for what it is. Like,
it is what it is.
It is what it is. Just
especially online. Online is the worst because it's like.
I guess it's when I don't know. You're the girlfriend, your man, sleeping with every woman, and he just comes home. She's like, "Well, boys will be boys." I guess that people will get a grudge from it that way, but same with any phrase like that.
Yeah, I hate it when men mansplain. That's another one, isn't it? Mansplain.
Mansplain. I always mansplain.
Because I think there was a video in the Australian Prime. Was it?
You go back.
Australian Housing and Parliament, wherever it is. And there's this woman. She was like, there's a woman PM. She was like, not PM, but like MP.
Yeah. Why is
she
it?
was saying, "Oh, are you mansplaining to me to another MP?" And he was like, "No, I'm simply replying my answer, love." No, I mean, he didn't say love. He didn't say love.
What do I do? Love?
I completely ruined that reference, but yeah.
So what's the difference, right? Why is it when you've all heard the phrase men or man looking, so when we've lost something, we'll just sort of walk around the house a few times and we haven't found it and it's lost.
Yeah.
And it's man looking.
It's usually in the sock drawer or the
man drawer
or the drawer with
the
WD-40 and the blue string.
But when what's the difference between that and woman driver? Like, we don't get offended, so why? Do you know what I mean?
you're branding the whole women.
Yeah, but if
race
by saying man
in our
looking,
race,
by saying you're
the
man
gender.
looking, you're effectively saying that about every man.
Mate,
aren't
a
you?
feminist is gonna hate this podcast.
Oh yeah, I know, but it's not. No, don't get me wrong. I like feminism as long as
I like women, they're right.
Well,
it's
so
like there's
at
so
the
many
end of the
double
day-
standards. That's
I
what
love-
I'm trying to say.
I love the girls. I've got a girl mate.
That's like the perfect version of I'm not racist.
Yeah. I'm not racist.
I'm not
I've got
racist.
French. Oh. That was,
Well, I'm gonna put my fucking foot down.
that was such a shit goal, by the way. But yeah, I say all the time.
Just double stack. It
So-
doesn't matter if it's feminism or I don't know, whatever. Like, if
I
it's-
tell you what, it doesn't matter if it's feminism, gammon, pints, beers.
no, you can't say
boys.
one thing and then expect the same thing in return. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it's just.
But I
It
think
comes down to
the
social
difficult thing
media.
is as well, when people are oppressed,
Yeah.
it's difficult when maybe sometimes they do get the same level to say, men can say, oh no, blah, 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 blah. Do you know what I mean? It's. People get annoyed when you make assumptions about something you haven't lived through.
Yeah,
Well,
of
the
course,
black-
yeah.
Black Lives Matter things just piss me off. Oh, I'm not. We're not going to talk about it at length because I can't be
Yeah.
asked. Like, just from the people who are idiots, but I don't know why. I think it's like
Here we go. Buckle in.
what I will say is
be
I
a
think
bumpy ride.
it's finally shown up how racist this country is. Like,
Yeah.
and I think we all knew. You know when people are like, oh, it's not as bad as it used to be. And I've always said like,
It's got
nah,
brushed
it's
under the
bad.
carpet,
It's
isn't
bad. It's just not. It's just gone away from.
Well,
it.
mate, what is under the skin? It's gammon. It's.
But like I don't want to bring
Honestly.
Brexit, but Brexit happened, and then you saw how much like the amount of cases and like stuff at football match and all that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And then the Black Lives Matter things happened, and every single post, tweet, whatever, there's always the top comments are usually always filled with like, you know, people like, oh, well, what about all lives matter? But like, what I can't get my head around is if you've like gone your whole life never experiencing that or like knowing you haven't been affected by it, why would you then feel like you have a right to get irate about something that like doesn't affect you in that sense? So like the people who like the instant reaction is, you're right.
No, I just clicked my neck. It really hurt.
You know, people whose instant reaction is to be like, well, what about me?
But what about me?
Well, yeah, that's.
What about
that's
it's like if you can explain to me all the times that you've had a hard time because you're white, then I'll be happy to listen to your explanation. But until then,
Well, this is the problem as well, though, because
I don't know why like people feel like, well, what about what they have it, but why I have it bad as well?
You
Do
look just like your dad then. It was really weird.
you know what I mean? It's just I don't know. I don't really get this country sometimes when it comes to stuff like that.
But here's the problem, though, is when people say, but what about me? People don't know what people like. People are scared, aren't they? I think that's their immediate reaction. They're like, because they think somebody else is gaining something else, and just because people say, oh, Black Lives Matter, that doesn't mean that necessarily a white person hasn't been through hardships or or like sort of been hit by like society the wrong way or been unjustly like arrested. What we're saying is
but
That's for individual.
we
like,
know-
this is
what I'm
on
saying.
mass.
We know
That's
that
what I'm
we
saying as a white person.
don't get that extra hard time
Yeah,
because of the colour of our
100%.
skin, and
Yeah.
like obviously all lives matter. This like that goes without saying, but
not all lives matter. in
but
this
yeah,
scenario,
like
yeah.
the other races haven't mattered, and that's the whole point of the thing.
And I think
And I don't know. I feel like some like in that sense, I feel like people could be educated if they're willing to listen. But I think the problem is people are too stubborn in this country, and they just want to think that they're right all the time about everything. Which I definitely fall into that category. But like when it comes to something like race, like who are any of us to tell a black person how they should or shouldn't react? Like how can a black person say this is what I go through on a daily basis, and then your instant reaction is to be like, nah, doubt it. Because that's basically the way people are reacting. Yeah, well, it can't be that. Like, what about the stuff I go through? It's like,
I mean, yeah, like.
Can
this,
you not just
that's,
like
that's the
accept
whole,
it? Like, all right, cool. So like, let's look at.
A lot
I
of
think that's the
people.
problem though, because a lot of people, white people, do feel oppressed. But what we're not saying that. Well, we're not saying that people are you're not oppressed. But what we're saying is that there's an actual disadvantage being a black person.
Yeah.
Whereas being a white person, yes, you can be unlucky being born in like unfortunate scenarios, but there is an actual injustice in the whole of society that affects the minorities
Groups,
in society. Do you know what I mean?
But even then, you'd say, but you don't have the extra bit of being black and having that extra thing.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't know. The whole situation's just
I don't know. I think like you can't really like have too much of an opinion on sort of like the movement or whatever, or have an opinion on what a black person goes through if you're not a black person. Do you know what I mean? Like it's impossible to know what they go through unless you live it. Like,
but you should at least try and understand and not you have your instant reaction be like, nah.
Yeah.
Like
well, it's like someone that's 6'7" compared to someone at 4'5", they're gonna have a completely different view of life, aren't they?
Yeah.
So it's like
exactly.
So everyone's has a different view of life, and you never know what people are going through or like how it affects people in different ways. You know what I mean? It's that's what I mean. This whole thing is. I've always said if there's any arguments going on online, it's just like we just need to learn from each other. Just read and find as much information. Like if someone has a racist opinion, find out why they have a racist opinion, and like find out why they have that opinion, and see if you can we'll see if they can get educated. And you know what I mean? It's just baby steps.
But some people are
more educated.
Some people can't.
Some people are completely blind.
When
yeah,
the people who are overtly racist, like the kids who are having a crack at Ian Wright. Like they know full well what they're trying to say when they say those words. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? So that's like I just think in that case you're not going to educate him because he knows what he's saying. He knows but I mean racism in the sense of like the general everyday day-to-day stuff that people go through that you don't. Like when you see, especially like I've seen a couple of people talking about it. I spoke to a couple of people and one of the things I said, yes, the snide stuff that's annoying. There's like, we can deal with the overt stuff, and I was like, why you have to be in position that you have to deal with the overt stuff? Like, it shouldn't be a thing. Full stop. And I can't understand why people can't get into the head like this happens, and it's bad.
Do you know?
I don't know why there's such a like. There has to be a comeback, like. Nah, but this and that, like.
Do you know what I find crazy is what scares me a little bit is, I can never actually imagine a world where everyone gets along. Nah. Or where everyone is equal. Because in the whole of human history, when has everyone always been equal?
Yeah, always been justice.
I think I've said it on here before, to be fair, but there's never going to be like world peace or anything because if you look at the animal kingdom. Animals fight over territory.
Yeah,
blah blah blah. Yeah. So it's obviously like instinctive to do that sort of thing, but obviously we have commodities such as oil and whatnot, so we fight over that.
Yeah, I think it's a great point.
Do you think that's what it comes down to with white people as well? Like the people who are getting so defensive, it's like a innate reaction to like defend your own.
I think a lot of people feel. I think that why you see a lot of sort of the National Defence League and stuff like those organisations like that cropping up now is because people are scared. They don't know how. Because they're ignorant. They don't know how this is going to affect them, and so they immediately go to the worst case scenario where they're like, "Oh, they're taking over our country." Well, no. They're still a huge. Well, they're called minorities because they are the minority of the population.
Exactly.
That's why they're called minorities. They're not. They're not taking over our country whatsoever. In fact, they're doing a lot of the jobs that we don't want to do. Like you look at these we had to do fruit picking. We had all the fruit picking jobs. I'm going because we haven't got anyone to do the jobs. I think people abroad want to do them.
I think the problem is people like because they don't hate black people, whatever, they don't say stuff to them. They feel
Yeah.
that automatically makes them not racist. But like, you know, like even with this whole thing, because I'll be like one of the worst for sitting down and like seeing stuff and be moaning about it, like, oh, this is fucked. Like, why can't people at the top do something about it? But that's part of the problem is like we have to be the people that realise it's up to us as well to speak out. So that's why like I've been doing so much posts on Instagram. I don't really like doing it, but it's just that thing about getting it out, how like being anti it as opposed to just not being racist.
Yeah, I've noticed as well though how
and no one's perfect. Like no one's like, that's what I mean about me. I kind of thought it was other people's problem, and then you realise like actually no, like you're part of the problem as well if you're not speaking out against it. It's not a bad thing to realise that, but for some reason people were just so stubborn and defensive and they don't want to accept it. They just think, well, I've never said the M word, so I'm not racist. And that's not really how it works.
Do you know what I've noticed over this lockdown period though, is just talking to people of different generations, like especially like within my own family sometimes, is like it's actually just gonna have to be a generational thing, because it's just slowly. Like I've seen it like just having conversations with people throughout my family, like where we go, like I remember my great granddad I met luckily, and he was, I wouldn't say he was the most sort of PC person.
Yeah.
And then you got my granddad, who's not really the PC person, but he's a bit more liberal.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And then you go look at my parents, whereas like they're very liberal people, but there's still a few things that they're like they don't understand properly.
Yeah.
Whereas now, like on me, where I'm like I'm actually like educating my parents. It's like
exactly. I've done that.
Do you know? It's like, we have access to things that they don't really.
No,
well, they have access to it.
They don't use
they
Twitter.
Don't
That's
use
my
it.
thing.
Yeah.
I think that's where a lot of the news reliable news source comes from. Because you look at, because if you think about it, all of our parents and all of our grandparents, anyone who's not around our age and who's not using Twitter, they get their news source via someone else. Whereas now we have the option to read multiple opinions to form our argument.
And I think that's almost the difficult part of it now, because like you're saying about them getting more and more liberal, but now we're at the point of like super liberalism, and now you have to work out what's acceptable and what's not.
Yes.
Do you know what I mean? Because people like, off the top of my head, like the Tube aren't saying man or woman now. Like that's absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
What are they saying? People now?
Yeah, that's something like that.
I think
or they don't refer to like ladies and gentlemen or something, because it could be like offensive to whoever, and that's just ridiculous. Like no one really asking for that. It's just a few dickheads on social media that make the most noise. Yeah. So that's why like now we're in a point where we have to like be realistic. But it's good because we've got like all the information. We can make our own decisions. That it just becomes who's a fucking idiot and who isn't. That's what I think.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be a very, very slow process, but over time, slowly, we're going to get rid of like the bigoted people, and like it's going to. Because I know for a fact it's not going to be our generation, because I know people my age who are racist and who are going to pass that on to their kids, and then so there's still going to be a few bad eggs in the next generation. There's still going to be, but it's a slow process.
I'm glad.
Hopefully.
Do you remember when the George Floyd thing happened, and I was like, and I said, "Oh, it's fucked, but it'll be done within a week." Because like, that's what always happens. It's just like it's.
I think what's quite good though is this is one that has sort of maintained.
So that's what I was going to say.
From the start, it felt a bit different. Though.
Yeah. And for whatever reason, this is the one where people were like, "Nah, fuck this. I've actually had enough." And it was actually it was good to see. Like, and obviously there's the education side of it. People taking it upon themselves, but at the same time as that, it highlighted the massive problems we have, like in this country, especially because when a racist thing happens, let's say in football, happens for a week, everyone's just like, "Oh, yeah, it's so bad. Like he's a good role model." Like, if they're talking about Stone or whatever, and then it's just done. Whereas this one, it was the same thing for a week, and then second week it was just like, oh, "Do you have to keep banging on about it?" Do you know what I mean? And people just like to get fed up with it, and it's just like, nah, it's not the point. Like, it has to get drilled in for you to actually understand the gravity of it. And like you're right, it's not going to be this generation, but at least now we've had that big thing that could hopefully start it.
Well, do you know what I think? What was so stunning about that George Floyd thing was the fact that it was so obvious that it was a cop killing someone. It was black and white. Do you know what I mean? There was no one. It wasn't hiding. It wasn't hiding away from it. He wasn't. Do you know what I mean?
How can you know you're getting
It was
filmed?
black and white.
Still
You know the cop killed him.
How can you know you're getting filmed and still have the bollocks to just kill him?
Yeah, especially in this day and age as well.
That's
Like that's you know
And
that's
that's where it
ridiculous
comes
level
down
of-
to. Well, this is what's interesting because I was listening to Joe Rogan this week and he was saying like how it's stupid how the police officers should be smart enough or they should have enough qualifications and like education to be above any conversation to know that like what to say and how to de-escalate the situation.
Well, it should be a given, shouldn't it?
And they need to have verbal communication skills and like sort of like psychology skills. Do you know what I mean?
They need to be vetted as well. They're not vetted at all.
You think someone they're meant to be protecting the law. Like you need someone who is psychologically sound and who is good with people and who can de-escalate.
Yeah,
Because they're meant to be helping us.
Yeah, who gets into it for the right reasons.
Yeah.
Because I imagine a lot of it is like you grow up and these kind of people are
Do you know
crime,
what?
and then because you're racist, you're just like,
Do you know what? When I went to New York, Auburn, to visit my little brother, I could see like because people in the police force, it's sort of like people who you know get a job through people who you know.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Because it's like a community almost.
Yeah,
and it's
yeah.
like
Can't do.
it's like
it's
like just bob down the road. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. It's mad.
It's
We're
crazy.
bad here, but the training scheme for people with the police in America is fucking ridiculous.
No.
Was it like a month training, and then you're just given your pistol and you're qualified?
Well, I saw a
I think I can't remember which country it is, but like the one that has the best figures for that kind of thing, they go through like 12 months of intense like training, to make sure they're like the right people for it.
Yeah. Well, I saw a documentary where it was they took US police officers over to the UK to see how they trained, and you know how like police officers in the UK they're trained to sort of like disarm someone even without any weapons. Like so they have a knife, and so like the UK police demonstrated that, and they were just like blown away because they're like, oh no, we would have shot him right on the spot. Yeah, guns away there, my boy.
And even here, like, if police here were given guns, I think the rates wouldn't be too far away from America. But
well, I think there'd be a lot less because it's a small country, but still, high figures
like
for our country.
the ratio.
Yeah.
That's what I mean. Like, if you think about the military and the police, they're kind of doing the same jobs, except the police are for homeland.
Well, how scary is it in general?
Military
People meant to be
kind of-
protecting us look like military.
Yeah. But it's like the police should get. You know how intense military is, obviously.
Yeah.
The police should have that. Not, I wouldn't say the same level, but at least.
Well, yeah, it shouldn't be like the training shouldn't be based off combat. It should be trained off of like
no,
psychological
but like the
analysis.
discipline.
Yeah,
of
the
like
discipline of it. Yeah,
shouting in your ear every 5 seconds, and do you know what I mean?
100%. And sort of,
Doing
well,
your
maybe not shouting because they need to be sort of. They almost need to be like therapists.
Yeah, but you know where
Do you know what I mean?
You know where I'm coming
Yeah, I know
from.
where you're
It's
coming
just
from.
That level of discipline where, they're just fit for the job.
And you think it all filters down to everything in society, doesn't it? It's like you think how many problems would be solved if all drugs were fucking legalised and regulated.
Yeah.
Like you wouldn't have any crime. That's what funds the police force is the crime, and the reason why they don't legalise it.
Well, it's like that thing that I couldn't believe it, but about how they actually have quotas of the amount of people that they arrest that they have to fill.
Yeah.
It's like
That's mad.
the same with prison.
That's
why they'll give larger sentences to people for smaller shit.
Yeah.
Like just to fill a quota for prison.
Yeah.
It's
It's
What
ridiculous.
was the
I
other
can't
one? It
believe
was
that's
where
a thing.
if you're in police custody, the policeman's allowed to have sex.
No, it's not.
Sorry.
It's that in a certain amount of states in America, there isn't any laws about what the police officer can do.
in custody.
In terms of, like rape and stuff.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah.
So it makes you think, well, how much of that's going on? But
Yeah, and it just makes you think in America, like some places, like you think what the Wild West was like there's some places now it's still a bit like the Wild
Yeah,
West,
exactly,
Like,
yeah.
fucking hell.
In a different way, but yeah, I know what you mean.
Like that's the biggest one at the moment, isn't it? Not only that, it's the murdering. It's
Yeah.
the fucking opioid epidemic. Because all the drugs they sell are just like fucking opium in it.
Yeah. World's fucked.
It's mad.
One day.
This is a well,
Bit of a
like,
dark one, wasn't it?
enlightening episode.
Yeah.